Oh, you ruined it. I wanted to play like like a lag thing happens, so whoever was live, they'd be like, "Oh wait,
It's not frozen." That was cool.
yeah." Welcome everyone. We're here on a rare time. Usually we go live at was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday at noon. But welcome to this weekly episode of Our Daily Magic. My name is Dell. This is my wonderful co-host and wife.
Kaí.
And what we like to do together is co-create magic. Our belief is we're all magical as fuck in our unique way. And we like to create a space and a habitat for us to unleash it. So myself, Kaí, whoever our guest will be, we're supposed to have a guest and they're not here, but even you, whoever's listening, it is our honor that you're here. We're grateful for you, but also our intention for every conversation is to help you unleash your magic even more and to tap into your magic, and vice versa. I'm also tapping into my magic as well. That's infinite. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Okay. So I guess I should start the topic, right?
Yes, please.
All right. So I don't know where this is gonna go, but I got this in my meditation work. It just popped up, just thinking about this in an interesting way. I just felt called to speak on this, and like I said, I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm gonna allow the intention of what is happening with this title of Temporary Moments, Permanent Beliefs to flow through me. And reason why I felt the need to just have a conversation about this, and whoever's listening, feel free to chime in, and of course Kai's going to chime in too, is I came to this realization with myself. This realization in which I brought more awareness into myself, more awareness to myself, more awareness to who I am in this moment, and also more awareness out of curiosity of why I am the way that I am right now. And also, why do I do the actions the way that I do actions? Why do I feel the need of doing something over something else? Why do I do different patterns? Why do I show up in certain ways, in certain events the way that I do? And this popped into my mind. What I did is ask those questions. I didn't try to figure out the answer. That's something that a lot of us try to do. We try to figure things out. And when we try to figure things out, that's our potentially mostly our conditioned mind, our ego, our mind that wants to always figure something out, because that's the job of the mind. The mind always needs to give us information and also gives us different possible scenarios and stuff to like figure it out. And the more you can get aware with yourself, the more you actually can see that going on. So for myself, I realized that I took on a lot of current beliefs based upon experiences that I had before. And it's funny. I know like one of the notions that they throw out there is, yeah, all this stuff for you really healing yourself and integrating yourself, you have to go to your inner child and heal child wounds and things like that. And yeah, I totally resonate with that, because that is mostly the roots of where everything started, the origins of it. But in that middle portion to get to where you're at right now, besides your childhood, but whatever you lived in between that, there's a lot of series of events that happen. And the series of events is in all different avenues. Let's say your first experience of having friends in school, your first experience in which somebody told you something that you felt differently at a different time, a moment when somebody may have this poked fun at you or made fun of you and you took on some beliefs from that, a moment in which you're in school, and in school you had, I would say, a fair competition. And what I mean by that, to give more context to that, is, like when we're all in school and we have like an exam, we have like a project, we have a book report or whatever it may be. And in this, you are really just giving your best for it, the best that you can give for it to do those projects and give those things. And what could potentially happen is in there with school, and we all know it because most of us been in school, there's a grading system. So even if you give your best, you could potentially get a B, a C, or D, or F, or whatever grades they have now. You got so many different ones. Or you could potentially get an A. And then what also can happen is somebody else in your class gets that A, and you get the B, the C, the D, or whatever, and you gave your best. Now, what can happen from that one moment? Take a really just ponder that, like from that one moment, and feel free, you can answer as well. Like if you gave your best for whatever it may be, the test or this type of stuff, and then you see this other kid get a better grade than you, and you also see a authority figure at that time, which was the teacher, acknowledge that kid and yeah, great job and all this other stuff out there. And you did the very best you could and you got the grade that you got. And you really don't get that much acknowledgement from this authority figure as the person who got the 100, got the A. And I know this happened to a lot of us before. So in that type of scenario, how would you feel about it as a kid?
I'm going to speak hypothetically. That belief that could be taken on is my best isn't good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. My best isn't good enough. This person is better than me. I'm worthless. I'm beating myself up. I can never get what this person gets. So that could potentially happen. And it's interesting because I got to see it live happen with my son, with school wise. Not in that type of way, but just saying like, oh my goodness, like I did my best and I got this, like that. And we could get very frustrated and upset and take on these, like I said, the permanent beliefs from this one moment. So there's one moment of not being good enough. There's one moment of my best is not good. This moment of feeling like this person is better than me and everything else, and potentially go down that spiral of beating yourself up. Now, let's think about that as a kid. And now you're moving into your kid years, your adult years, your teenage years. And there's more experiences, not only just with school, but let's say the interactions that we also have, like I was saying, with like friends. You make friends, potentially that friendship ends. Or potentially you start making friends when you're little, and then what starts to happen as you get older, those friends start to hang out with other friends because in their world, these other friends are cooler than hanging out with you. Now, in that type of scenario as well, like how do you think someone can feel about like that type of scenario? Meaning like you build this bond with somebody, and then later on, as you guys get older, the person just pretty much says like, yeah, you're not cool enough to hang out with anymore. I'm hanging out with these guys that are cooler. How do you feel like in that type of moment?
Unworthy of friends.
Unworthy. Yeah. And that unworthiness from that one friendship interaction, if you allow that to fester and grow within you, this unworthiness, then that unworthiness is going to play a role in every other situation after that as well, which is that temporary moment, once again, with somebody saying whatever they believe. And just because this person believed what they believe, we're going to take it on as our own beliefs now because this person told me that I'm not cool enough. This person told me I'm unworthy. So I feel that I'm unworthy everywhere else or not cool enough everywhere else besides just this one temporary moment. So that's why I wanted to just bring more awareness to that, because a lot of times we're just having these permanent beliefs from these little temporary moments out there, in which these temporary moments should have just been a temporary moment, but we were kids. We didn't know how much of an impact these moments will have for us moving here. But now we're like adults navigating through life, doing this stuff in life, doing these patterns, and don't know why we're doing these patterns, but we have these beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. And we show with that and prove in our current reality how we're not worthy, how we're not good enough, how we're inadequate, how we're afraid of being abandoned again. And that's another thing. Like when a friend leaves you, it could potentially put fear of abandonment at that time. So the fear of people leaving you, like that friend left you, can show up in all the different relationships permanently. So you allow your boundaries to be stepped upon for the fear of this person leaving you, because of the fact I haven't got over yet my friend leaving me when I was a kid. So now I'm bringing forth with this person who's clear as day overstepping my boundaries, but I don't want to lose this person because I don't want to lose my friend again. And like I said, it's like just bringing the present awareness to why we do what we do in this current moment. Why are we doing what we're currently doing? Why do we believe what we currently believe? And why do we act the way that we act right now? Like just asking those questions and just being with those questions, allowing the answer to flow through you, not trying to force the answer, but to really just allow it to show up for you. It really starts to show that, just like I was saying, just these temporary moments and temporary experiences having these permanent beliefs on us, in which we're living life with these permanent beliefs. But the cool thing about it is the acknowledgement of these permanent beliefs is beliefs can always be shifted. Like we have beliefs that shift all the time in our lives. We always can have a choice of what we want to believe, what we no longer want to believe. And it really starts with being authentically honest. Well, for me, there's infinite ways of actually getting there. I can't say like this is the only way, but like just really just getting actively present and aware of what do you currently believe right now. What are your beliefs? Why do you do the stuff that you do? And just be honest. A lot of times we're doing stuff for fear, afraid of something happening again, afraid of something happening, afraid, infinite reasons. That fear, the fear, and a lot of times the fear can potentially stop us from either speaking our truth. It can stop us from really just authentically being ourselves. Maybe there was a time in which you were yourself and somebody wasn't ready to receive that powerful truthfulness of you. So they might have shut it down. They might have not been ready for it. They might have said it's too much. So maybe you thought you're too much for who you are. And then once again, the temporary moments gives you permanent beliefs. I'm too much, so I'm not going to show myself anymore. Or, yeah, I'm just not good enough. Like really being authentic and hearing those things, like hearing those thoughts inside of you. And I know that a lot of us, we do hear those things, but what we can do is distract ourselves from really not being with those things. Because what can happen is the mind can say, oh, I'm not good enough because of this. I'm not good enough because of that. I'm not good enough because of that. And it's just showing you how this temporary moment from the root cause of it is giving these permanent beliefs from all these different experiences out there. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I can see how even these things can show up like as like seemingly like little things, like, oh, I'm going to do this because I don't want to hear it from this other person, whatever that means. Or I'm going to do this to keep the peace. I'm going to do this to not rock the boat. These are not confrontations, or not just confrontations with other people. they're confrontations with parts of yourself that are not free and that are bound to this restriction in activity in order to uphold a condition that was created a long time ago by someone who was probably scared.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. But also, it just makes me curious for like these temporary experiences, permanent beliefs, and even not even just our own experiences, like like those type of experiences from our relationships, like heartache and things like that. But just thinking about just like what we've been taught as well from our upbringings. We all had our own unique upbringings, and we all have been taught the way that we got taught. And then you just made a valid point of people who also are teaching out of like fear and stuff like that, but also it's like a combination of fear and love. And also we are doing the best that we can.
Mm-hmm.
So we're teaching at the best that we can in every moment.
There's love underneath everything, right?
Oh yeah.
Even fear.
And that's also the beauty. I was like I was thinking like, when do I want to get to that point? I wanted to get to that or get to this point, just put some context to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then get to that point of, like you said, like the love, because really be able to find the love in all these temporary moments as well.
I think that the love is always there.
Oh yeah.
And the fear just gets layered on top, usually or potentially in the form of something that's being avoided, especially a part of the self that's being avoided. Or what's funny is that it can get compounded, like a fear of fear or judging a judgment. There's infinite ways that this love can just get masked and masked and masked and disguised until it's unrecognizable. And that's when those other emotions become prevalent.
Like what?
Well, we just talked about fear and judgment. It's like they're just piled right on top of the love. But if you don't dig down deep and really uncover what's at the bottom, what's at the root of it, you may never know. But it's always there.
How do you, when like something like this happens, to be able to go to the root?
I just ask myself, how do I feel? And if it's anything other than something that I want to feel, then I sit with it. I may even ask it, where did it come from?
And when you ask where did it come from, was usually like a common, or not common, but like a response you'll get.
And sometimes I'll get a flashback to something that happened. It feels like it could be a piece of me that was just reaching out to give me a message.
Yeah. That right there is a good part, because like the flashback, going back to moments, these temporary moments, and be able to go back to those moments. But what can happen from these temporary moments is we get stuck in these temporary moments and bring it to this moment. So, clear example is, and the only reason I'm thinking about this because I was just listening to Kevin Samuels. So, perfect example is a person, and this could be a man or a woman. You have an experience with one relationship, one partner, and in this relationship, it wasn't what you wanted to experience, but you still experiencing it, and it was very healing. Put that word.
Okay.
It was very healing for you. But then what can happen from this is you get stuck. So from this one experience, you believe that every other experience out there that is going to be the same thing. But then also the catch-22 is you're trying to prevent yourself from experiencing those things again.
Mm-hmm.
But also by you preventing yourself from experiencing, you're also preventing yourself from just being who you were before that. Meaning going into that, or even like I said, for the child interacting, getting friends, who you were before that, like stepping into like being that person,
Mm-hmm.
open, receptive, loving. But then these experiences that you have, and it's just natural, we all have done it, your heart closes up.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, nah, I open my stuff up, I let this person in, and this person is, yeah. So now I'm like this, and a theme out there, and men and women do it, is you got to work for it for me to open my heart to you.
Mm. But it's not open my heart to you, it's open my heart to me.
Oh no, but like it's like the catch-22. That's what it is. That's like the end goal of it. But it's like I'm not opening my heart yet because I have to trust you, or also have to make sure you're not going to do these things that I experienced before. So until I know that I'm safe, then I'll open up my heart.
Right.
So it's also like how much energy, and I always wondered that how much energy does it take to like keep yourself from keep yourself doing something unnatural than like the essence of who we are, because the essence of us is love. But then if you're forcing yourself to not be the essence of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
is there like like a struggle, a conflict going on? And yeah, I I raised my hand because I done that too. Like kept my heart closed, felt like people now you got to earn it for me to open it up. And this whole time, I just want to be the loving, cuddly bear that I am. But then also, I had this part of me that's like, nah, fuck that. Like, what if they do you wrong or do you over? Like, what happened before? Like, what if that happens again? No, we can't let that happen again. And once I got curious for that more, like who's saying that?
Mm-hmm.
Who's saying that? And then I get to see those parts of me, like you said, going back in time, like those different shades of me that are saying, like, yo, protect yourself and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And acknowledging it, also knowing that it's safe, but also, like I said before I even got into this, remembering who you were before that even happened.
Can I add a word to that?
Yeah.
Can you say remembering the essence of who you were? Because I think it's impossible for us to go back and be who we were since we're always expanding, but we could go back and be the essence.
Yeah. 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 I like that. And also, it's like synchronicity with the universe. Could say universe contracts and expands.
Hmm.
So, like in these moments that you start to close up, it's like a contraction going on.
Hmm.
But then eventually it's time to expand. But what we can do is like try to hold this contraction
Mm-hmm.
going on, but then we're living life in this contraction, moving around, and then wondering, oh my God, how come this person can't accept me? Or how come this person doesn't love me for who I am? Because you're not being who you are. I know. It's interesting. And that's another thing we are talking about too, the contradictions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it. It's another like contradiction, but then also it's like infinite of having permanent beliefs from these temporary experiences and keeping myself like this. But it really takes like just like for both of us bringing more awareness to ourselves, taking a look at those things from an eye of not judging it, not feeling that is right, that is wrong, that this person deserves the blame or I deserve the blame or things like that. That's one level of it to take a look at because or go through like the different levels. But then, like you say, always leave the love. It's like, what is the unconditional love that's in those moments? And talk about a permanent belief that I have instilled for myself, and that allows me to take a look at these things. It's sort of like a mantra for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything that happened is for my own personal soul expansion. Every single thing. I played a part, and whoever I interacted with so far in my life has played a part for me. And there's always a lesson for every single moment of my life. So it's very curious because then, like, taking a look at that, but then, like what you say, it leads to love. Like, it really leads to love. It was like getting to the part of being able to see that. And all it takes is like to be able to get into one moment in your life with that view,
Mhm.
and then you'll be able to look at other stuff from that view
Absolutely.
while you're in that space.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you can see it, that means that in one sense you are it.
Yeah.
Right?
See yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I like the word that's been used to describe that, recognition. Recognizing yourself in someone else, recognizing the love that you are in other situations and in other people. It's just different reiterations of same thing.
Yeah. It's all love. Yeah. There's always a lesson. Sort of like it just reminded me of I was thinking about this video meme that I sent you
Mm-hmm.
of the person driving and she had the microphone on yelling at the person ahead of her who's like slowing down or going slow.
Yeah.
Like, it's 55 speed limit. You're going 45. Speed the length up type of thing. And yeah, I've been there before, like having a road rage and I'm trying to get somewhere and somebody's in front of me type of thing. But even like that, there could be love in that moment, like lessons.
Mhm.
Like, oh, maybe this is teaching me how to be more patient with things and like just go with the flow.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. So she could have been making light of the situation in her own way. It was a little rude, but it was still really funny.
Oh yeah, yeah, the comedy of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tightrope of what's it called, compassion and comedy and joking around,
Mm-hmm.
and also your attention with why you're doing it.
Right.
So it's like something, oh, why is this person taking so long? It's funny. It's really funny because even like when these situations happen,
Mm-hmm.
your mind always says something, like has these different like reactions towards whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And you get to hear your mind when it says it. So that was a perfect example. It even happened to me yesterday. It was funny, like driving Jaden to school, and then there was a truck, like one, like those bulldozer trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So the bulldozer truck was driving in front of us, and it was going like probably like 15, 20 miles, and the speed limit was like 45, 50.
Yeah.
So at first I'm like, man, this freaking truck. And I heard it. I heard it happen.
Yeah.
It was happening in my mind. Like, man, this freaking truck. And I was like, oh. Like I heard it. But then the thing about it was like I can choose to carry that thought into now a belief, like embedded belief in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
or allow it to pass by and just observe and like, oh.
Can we explore that? What kind of belief could that have turned into?
Why is this person taking so freaking long? Now I'm gonna get late to school. Why is this person deciding to, and these like the thoughts are going on, so I'm just observing the thoughts. So it's like, oh, and this is something that I would like react to before, like with the driving, and then my thoughts be like, man, why are they gonna go on this the road when there's a highway and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Why are they going at this time when there's rush hour and people are trying to get places and stuff like that? How courteous are you to like be doing this? So like those are the thoughts that are going on. Before I would like just say that like how,
Yeah.
but like when I was hearing them this time, it was like, oh,
yeah,
okay, these are some thoughts that are going on. My mind is bringing out these type of information. And that's the cool thing is like the more you actually be with yourself and meditate with yourself and bring more awareness to yourself in whatever practice you do, or just being with yourself, being with your thoughts, you start to see more that your thoughts are going to do what they do.
Yeah.
And you have a choice of whether or not you're going to do what the thoughts are telling you to do, or you just get to be the observer more of the thoughts. Now, there's still times where the thoughts come up and I roll with it, but it's way less than I would be doing it before, in which my thoughts was going so rampant to the fact I'm just, like I don't have any control, or even the fact of like going to sleep and A lot of people tell me that like when they go to sleep, their mind is going,
Mm-hmm.
and like my hypothesis about that is a hypothesis. I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not,
Mm-hmm.
but for myself, because I set the moment in the morning to be with myself, be with my thoughts, but also I'm with it throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm going to sleep, I don't really hear thoughts like that much.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, oh, let me get comfortable, like that type of thing. And once I get comfortable, I go to sleep. So I wonder if because of not spending time throughout the day of being with yourself, like that intention of being with yourself, being with your thoughts, observing your thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
does like at that moment if you go to sleep because you're in that state, like the meditative state as well, like right before you go to sleep, it's like the same type of state.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when oh, you're with yourself now, blah! So that's when your mind starts to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like just like packing everything up, and then at the end of the day, boom, from out the day, the interactions that you have, and
Mm-hmm.
even thinking about tomorrow and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like for myself, like with the meditation, the mind still does what it does, but
Mm-hmm.
now it's like I allow the mind to do what it does,
Mm-hmm.
but also I have a choice of whether or not I'm going to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
And even though when I do
Mm-hmm.
roll with it, I get aware that I'm rolling with it, and I get right back. And then before I used to judge the fact that I was with it,
Yeah.
but now that I'm aware of this and I'm back.
Speaking of rolling with it, there's something I wanted to say about that, the truck situation. And that was that by you sharing your thoughts, it helped me get present to, there's two things that I picked up on that seems to be common when the thought, like from that temporary situation starts to turn into a belief. Like I caught it. And one of those things is when instead of those statements being about the situation, it's those statements start to become about yourself or about yourself. So instead of, oh, this truck, it's doing this thing, instead it starts to become, people are always cutting in front of me. I'm always da 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 da. And then the second thing was when it starts to turn into a belief is when words that are like perpetuating start to get mixed up in there. Like always, I always do this. That starts to make it be about forever, not just about that moment. Or never. I never get da 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 da. That's when it starts being about forever instead of just that moment.
I like that. That's a valid point. And it's also like, what if like, and it's another hypothesis, but also it's a hypothesis that's got proven by me, so it's actually a fact. Just be more aware of how I show up, interact with things, but also just aware of my own journey from my own self-discovery. And what I was about to say about that is, with life gives us these moments, sort of like those things that are unexpected. Nobody wakes up in the morning and say, hey, I can't wait to be in some traffic today. No, it happened. And I left synchronistically at that time to experience what I experienced to get something. But in these moments of when life shows us the way that it shows us, our beliefs at that time is going to be validated for whatever we believe.
Mm-hmm.
So the perfect example with that one, with the truck or whatever, let's say somebody just believing that everything's out to get me, everything just doesn't go right or whatever like that. So they're on their way to work. They're already feeling some type of way, like, man, I really don't want to go here and stuff like that, but I gotta go. But like also they are going to potentially be late. Mm-hmm. So they're in a rush. They're packing their stuff. They're running to get into the car and go, okay, I got to hurry up because I'm going to be late for work. And then driving, then this truck thing happened. It's like, why every time when I'm trying to do something, why every time when I'm trying to do something throws me off. Something happens. Something always happens. Something always doesn't go my way every time. So like that type of thing.
Yeah.
So that was like the perfect, and that's another example because I've done that before when I went to work. I try to hurry up. or should I hurry up and be in a rush? And then that's when the traffic and stuff happens on the day when I'm trying to be in a rush. And then even the universe, like, okay, we're going to play around a bit more. Every light you go through is a red light. Or even, here's another one, which is pretty funny too. You know, when you're driving and you're really in a rush, so you're trying to make a turn at a light.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're trying to make a turn at a light, the car in front of you, because the light starts to turn yellow, and the car in front of you, it was a lot of time to actually make that turn. And if they would have made the turn, you would have made the turn as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this car decides to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still yellow, and you got to stop behind this thing. And then what can happen from there? Man, I have stories for days. I'm just thinking about that time when I actually did do that. When I was in a rush, and then that happened, and those emotions came up. And the cool thing about life experiences is it'll give you multiple experiences at the same time, so that way you can be able to respond to it a different way. So that one response I threw out there, that was the response I did. But then I had another experience with this, and then I knew this time, and it started slowing down. Like, it came up again, those thoughts and beliefs and stuff. How do you know that? And I just, guess I'd be at this red light for a little bit, chilled out. But like in these moments, it really shows what our current permanent beliefs are. But like even the permanent thing needs to have like an asterisk to it, because our beliefs, like I said before, can always shift to something new. And it starts with that new choice for how to respond to how life presents itself to us.
Mm-hmm.
Every opportunity is an opportunity for us to expand, for us to learn more about ourselves, for us to be able to evolve more, for those of us who want to evolve, but also an opportunity to really sharpen our tools as we get to navigate life and create what we want to create. And it really starts with taking a look at those beliefs that we currently have about things, ourselves, the more deeper ones. What beliefs do you have about others? So take a look at that as well, because pretty much that's beliefs you have about yourself as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like I would like to call it catch me too, like catch affinity. No wonder like a lot of like what they say, like people who have like those massive spiritual awakenings go crazy, because you're processing infinite.
Or trying to.
I was laughing. That's a message I got. But yeah, speak about message. Hope you guys got that message out there. And once again, take a look at your beliefs right now. If what your life is right now, or your reality, life, same thing. If what you're experiencing right now in your life is something you don't want to experience, take an honest look at your beliefs right now and see if your current beliefs are beliefs from temporary moments that already happened. And if yes, you have a choice. You get to see, you're seeing right now what your temporary experiences and beliefs from that is giving you right now. And you have a choice from this moment moving forward. What new sets of beliefs do you want to have, so that way you can be able to create those moments that you do want to experience?
Yeah. Stay magical.